My best friend is actually my sister. Her mother is actually my mother. And nobody told us for 17 years. This is the story of how I found out. Hi, my name is Sophie, and I need you to promise me something before I tell you this story. Promise me you won't judge my family until you hear the whole thing. Because what I discovered 6 months ago didn't just change my life. It rewrote everything I thought I knew about love, family, and the people closest to me. The woman who raised me lied to my face for 17 years. And the woman who gave birth to me, she was sitting at my kitchen table every single weekend, smiling, laughing, pretending, drinking coffee with the woman who took her place. Trust me when I say, the truth was so much worse than I ever imagined. Growing up, I always felt like something was off. I couldn't explain it. I just felt it. Like everyone around me was in on a secret that I wasn't allowed to know. Small things would happen. My mom would get weird every year around my birthday. She would stare at me for a long time and then suddenly excuse herself to go cry in the bathroom. When I asked her about it, she always said the same thing. "You're growing up so fast. That's all. Just emotional." There were never any baby photos of me before age 2. When I asked my parents about it, my dad would change the subject. "We lost them in a flood," he'd say. Or, "Your mom isn't great at taking pictures." Different excuses every time. But here's the thing that really started bothering me. My best friend Hannah and her mom Diana would come over every Saturday for brunch. They had been part of my life since I was a toddler. And every single Saturday, Diana would look at me with this strange expression. Soft, sad, like she was trying not to cry. I never understood why. Until I did. 6 months ago, my parents went away for a weekend wedding. I had the house to myself for the first time ever. I decided to go up into the attic to look for old yearbooks I wanted to show Hannah. That's when I saw it. A wooden box pushed into the very back corner, covered in dust, with a small padlock on it. I should have left it alone, but something pulled me toward that box, like my whole life had been waiting for this exact moment. I broke the lock open with a screwdriver, and what I found inside completely shattered me. There were dozens of photos, baby photos, toddler photos, of a little girl with auburn hair just like mine. But it wasn't me. The dates on the back were from when I was already 2 years old, and the name written on every single photo was Lily. Then I found the documents, adoption papers, filed when I was 22 months old. My birth name wasn't Sophie, it was Lily. And the birth mother listed on those papers? I read the name 3 times before I could even process it. Diana Reynolds. Hannah's mother. My best friend's mother was my biological mother. I sat in that attic for 2 hours, just staring at those papers, trying to make my brain accept what I was reading. Diana had been in my life every single week for 17 years. She watched me grow up. She sat at my birthday parties. She helped me with my homework. She gave me Christmas presents. And the entire time, she knew. She knew I was her daughter. And Hannah, my best friend since kindergarten, my sister. Did she know too? When my parents came home that Sunday night, I was waiting for them at the kitchen table. The box was sitting in front of me, the adoption papers laid out for them to see. My mom walked in first. She looked at the table, and the color literally drained from her face. She didn't say a word. She just sat down across from me and started crying. My dad came in behind her. He didn't even ask what was happening. He just sighed deeply and sat down, like he had been waiting for this conversation for 17 years. My mom finally spoke. She said, "Sophie, I am so sorry. We were going to tell you. We were always going to tell you. The right moment never came. I asked her one question. Did Diana know I was hers this entire time? She nodded slowly. Yes, she knew. I stood up and walked out of the kitchen. I didn't speak to either of my parents for 3 days. But the worst part wasn't the adoption. The worst part wasn't even Diana being my biological mother. The worst part was the reason why she gave me away. My mom finally told me the full story. When Diana was 20 years old, she got pregnant from a one-night stand. She wasn't ready to be a mother. My adoptive mom, her older sister, couldn't have kids. So Diana made a decision. She would give me to her sister to raise. And she would stay close. She would be in my life as the aunt, as the family friend. But I would never know. Diana is my mother's sister, which means Diana is my biological aunt by blood, and my legal aunt by adoption, but also my best friend's mother. Because Diana eventually got married and had Hannah 3 years after giving me up. So Hannah isn't just my best friend. Hannah is my half-sister. By blood. 17 years of my life, built on a lie that involved every single adult around me. My parents knew, Diana knew, my grandparents knew, even some of my aunts and uncles knew. The only people who didn't know? Hannah and me. I called Hannah the next day. I asked her to meet me at our usual coffee spot. I brought the adoption papers with me. When I showed them to her, she went completely silent. She read every page slowly, tears streaming down her face. She looked up at me and said 3 words I will never forget. I'm your sister. She had no idea. She was just as shocked as I was, just as betrayed, just as broken. We sat in that coffee shop for 4 hours, just talking, crying, trying to figure out what this meant for our friendship, for our families, for our entire lives. Then I went to Diana's house. I knocked on the door. When she opened it, she took one look at my face and burst into tears. She knew. She knew I had found out. She invited me in. She made me tea. And for the first time in my entire life, she told me the truth. All of it. How she was scared. How she wasn't ready. How giving me to her sister felt like the only way she could still be near me without ruining my childhood. She asked for my forgiveness. She begged for it. And honestly, I'm still working on that. I haven't forgiven her completely. Some days I want to. Some days I don't think I ever will. Because 17 years of lies isn't something you fix in one conversation. But here's what I learned. Family isn't always who gave birth to you. Family isn't always who shares your DNA. Family is who shows up. Family is who stays. Family is the people who chose you on purpose. My adoptive parents lied to me, but they also raised me, loved me, protected me, stayed up with me when I was sick, taught me everything I know. Hannah didn't know I was her sister, but she's been my sister since we were 5 years old anyway. And Diana? She's still figuring out how to be a real part of my life now that the secret is finally out. I'm 18 now. My family looks different than it did 6 months ago. It's messier. It's more complicated. But it's also more real. Because now there are no more secrets, no more lies, no more lonely Saturdays where I felt like the only person who didn't understand what was happening. I know who I am now, and nobody can take that away from me again. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, because next week's story, it's even darker than this one.